How you doing, everybody? Welcome back to Monster Territory. Hope you all had a wonderful All-Star break. Not gonna lie, it was nice to take a couple of days to recharge the batteries just a little bit, kind of clear your head, have some fun with the All-Star game. You got the Home Run Derby as well. How about that All-Star game? I mean, my goodness, you had a swing-off. I never thought I'd see the day where you had a nice, good old swing-off to end the game. Not bad, if you ask me. You know, Jazz Chisholm, he was dying to get back up there to get the 3 home runs to get the American League back in it. It is what it is. I'm just saying. But honestly, All-Star game, it is, in my opinion, the best in sports. You know, I know NBA, you know, they like to, put on this whole show and whatnot, but every year, the Major League Baseball All-Star game, it's just so good every single year. And this year was amazing, especially the Hank Aaron tribute. That's one of the coolest things I think I've ever seen just in anything, not even just in baseball, like anything that I could even think of. Amazing job for Major League Baseball on that. That was phenomenal. I just feel like the whole week went really well. You saw a lot of cool interviews with players. You know, you're seeing like Jared Carrabis of Underdog going over there, talking to guys like Garrett Crochet, Bregman. You know, just having a good old time, just a fun time, like how it should be, right? Kind of like before the Super Bowl, they do that media day where they talk to all the players. They kind of had that feel to it. You just saw a lot of that, good fan interaction, good tributes, star players all over the place. Just a good week. You got to love it. Home Run Derby, that was fun. And here we are, getting ready for the second half. We are back to business, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, I'm sorry. I left off one key thing there. One of my favorite things, one of my favorite events of the year. You had the draft. How about the draft? That was amazing. I went live for that on my main channel, reacted to all the first round picks, and then you had all the compensation picks and whatnot. Love the first pick for the Red Sox, Kyson Witherspoon. Another birthday gift. Gotta love that. Every year, the Red Sox, they get Marcelo Meyer falling to them at 4. Kyle Teal falling to them, a couple of years ago. Braden Montgomery falling to them last year. Now, once again, a projected top 10 pick falling to them at 15. Great value there. Big fan of Kyson Witherspoon. This guy just was dealing at Oklahoma. Great stuff. Gotta love it there. I do think there's a chance. I think you could see him in the next couple of years, to be honest. Good velo with him. Good stuff. Just an athletic build, and not even just him. You saw the Red Sox do a lot of the same with all of the other pitchers they took. Big-bodied guys with canvases that they can build upon, kind of like Peyton Tolley, Brandon Clark, who they took last year. Saw a lot more of that. You had Phillips there, Ianson they took. Big fans of those guys. Henry Godbout, solid hitter. That's a guy who I wonder if you could see him at some point in the next couple of years. Really good bat out of Virginia. Really like this draft for the Red Sox overall. I personally would give it an A. I think they did a great job yet again. But overall, just a great week. Just an eventful week. Fun times, but here we are. We're back to business, ladies and gentlemen, and you all know what time it is. You all know what's coming. I have a theory. I actually, except for, I would say, I don't know. Red Sox fans, it's a different breed, right? I would say a lot of simply just fans all across Major League Baseball. I think they actually like the roster management, the transactions, the trades, the free agents, more than actually watching the game. That's been a theory that I've had for a long time. And I think that's more than you would actually think. Listen, I run a YouTube channel. I know what gets the most views. I know what makes people just get all just giddy and excited. And it's always the trade stuff every single year. I could do a video on, oh man, look at how this player is doing lately. Or how about this game? Whatever. People won't click on it. But if you put a trade rumor, that's through the roof. It's just how it is. I love the transactions. I love the rumors. I love the roster management. I love all the trade proposals. This is my favorite time of the year. I love this time of the year. Love putting together trades. We're going to have a busy couple of weeks, not just over on the main channel, but here on Monster Territory as well. We're probably going to be live here pretty much every single night. I mean, there's going to be news just all over the place here leading up to the deadline. And just letting you know, every year I go live for the deadline, pretty much an all-day stream. So if you want to tune in with me on the main channel and keep track of all the trades that are happening throughout the day, you want to come hang out, come join me over on the main channel. We'll have a lot of fun there, especially reacting to any Red Sox moves. And listen, we got some moves that I think are going to be happening here. You got Craig Breslow, as of late, talking about how he wants to add an impact starter, top of the rotation. Who knows? Maybe they could add something for the lineup as well. I know you got a bit of a logjam with the outfield, with Yoshida coming back. So that could be interesting. We're going to go over a couple of bits here. We got Joe Ryan to talk about. We got Yandy Diaz, who popped up in the news today. Got a couple of other options over at first base as well. And we also got the Cubs series tomorrow. I mean, we got a lot of baseball coming up here. And not just any baseball. We got a lot of tough teams coming up here on the schedule. We'll take a look at that in just a little bit. But I do just want to let you all know, really quick before we dive into it, with Foul Territory right now, if you go to foulterritory.chat, you can actually enter to win a jersey of your choice, not just any jersey, an authentic jersey. That's a value up to $400. So if you think you know ball, all you got to do is go to foulterritory.chat and go prove it in the trivia game. The deadline is July 20th at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time. So go sign up for that. Go enter and give yourself a chance to win a jersey. Not bad if you ask me. Now, let's get to it here. So, all the talk lately, it's been Joe Ryan. Joe Ryan this, Joe Ryan that. Listen, I've been in on it. I've been posting all over the place when it comes to Joe Ryan. I would love me some Joe Ryan. My goodness. But we got some news here from Mark Feinsand. So taking a look-see. So he came out with an article. I believe this was yesterday. 6 All-Stars who could be on the move before the deadline. Talking about a few guys, Ryan O'Hearn, got Freddie Peralta in here, but here is the one little golden tidbit that jumped off the page. Milwaukee's Freddie Peralta and Minnesota's Joe Ryan have also been floated as possible trade chips. Those sources said the two right-handers are unlikely to be moved before the deadline. Listen, it might seem like the deadline is very close here, but it's also very far away at the same time. Listen, we got a good couple of weeks. A lot can happen here in the next couple of weeks. You could see the Twins go ahead and lose, 5 straight games, 6 straight games. Now, when it comes to the Twinkies, taking a look at the current standings here. Now, the Twins, they're in this weird spot where, they've put together a couple of wins as of late, but they're 2 games under 500, 11.5 back in the division, 4 back in the wild card. They got a negative run differential as of right now. This is a team with a lot of injury risk on it. Byron Buxton, Carlos Correa, Royce Lewis, the list goes on and on. Pablo Lopez, he's been dealing with a shoulder thing. The Twins are in a weird spot. And, I see a lot of Twins fans out there saying, well, Robbie, why would the Twins trade Joe Ryan? That would be ridiculous. And if they trade Joe Ryan, they're going to have to give up Roman Anthony. You're going to have to give up Roman Anthony and Marcelo Meyer. I mean, there's no way the Twins would trade him. Well, hold the phone here. Buckle your buns, okay? I think there is a chance that he could get moved. Now, if I'm going to lean one way or the other, I would lean towards him staying in Minnesota. Listen, when you have a guy of that caliber at the top of your rotation with multiple years of control, the conversation would be different if, he was going to be hitting free agency this offseason, or if he was 1 year away from free agency. I think that could be a different conversation, but 2.5 years of control left. It's a lot of control, and for the Twins, I'm not sure if they're ready to give that up yet. I would imagine they would be more inclined to hang on to him, go for it again next year, or who knows, maybe something in the offseason. So here's the thing with Joe Ryan. Obviously, he's very good. Taking a look at the numbers here. ERA at a 2.72, FIP at a 3.20. 18 starts overall, solid strikeout to walk ratio, one of the best in Major League Baseball here, right around 10 strikeouts per nine, under 2 walks per nine. Very good numbers. He's on pace for a career year. So again, I could see a situation where the Twins, they see more value in hanging on to him because at the end of the day, you're not paying him, the big bucks here. You're not paying him Garrett Crochet kind of money. He's an arbitration. It's when you have an arm like that doesn't really cost all that much. I mean, my goodness, that's a nice luxury to have. But then you also have to think about it again, getting back to where the Twins are at, looking at the standings. Not a great spot. So could you see a situation where maybe the Twins, they look at the value of the package that they would get back for Joe Ryan? Listen, ladies and gentlemen, you are going to get back a lot. No, you're not going to get Roman Anthony, Marcelo Meyer. That's not going to happen because you just don't trade away players like that, that just got called up. That just doesn't happen. Especially the caliber of those players. That would be insane. I would hate that. If they moved Marcelo Meyer for Joe Ryan, I would flip out. I would not like that at all. I would love Joe Ryan, but not for Marcelo Meyer. You just don't do that. However, you could put together a pretty bona fide package of major league ready talent that is cost controlled. Prospects, either that are getting closer to major league ready, maybe a little further away. You could do a good mix. There's a lot of value with Joe Ryan. You got to think of the projected value of Ryan here over the next couple of years. When you're taking a look at wins above replacement, I mean, he's projected for a good amount over the next couple of years, right? And when you're looking at it from a front office point of view, when you're looking at how much each wins above replacement, each WAR costs, and you're looking at the projected value of him over the next 2.5 years, and then with the cheap money that it's going to, that you're going to be paying him, you got a value through the roof, right? He's got a very high surplus value. So, for example, taking a look, so I just threw together a couple little things here. We got, Joe Ryan here going to the Red Sox, and then first piece, Jarren Duran, go back to the Twins. Well, as you can see, Jarren Duran has over $40 million of value, surplus value himself. He's projected for a decent amount over the next few years. He's not making a ton of money either. So you could get Jarren Duran, but you will also get more. You will get Duran. You will get a few prospects, or maybe a couple of prospects, maybe one more major leaguer. Like someone or a major league ready guy, like a Richard Fitz or a Kyle Harrison. Like that, I think is definitely on the table. I think you could do that. Now, question is, would the Twins want someone like Jarren Duran? Well, I don't know about that. They do have a lot of outfielders there. You got Wallner in the mix. Going blank. Obviously, you got Buxton. I'm going completely blank on the other guy they have. My goodness. My brain is still recovering from all-star mode here. Hold on a second. Let's go pull this up. I'm a visual guy when my brain's not working. Larnach. My goodness, I could not think of the guy's name. You got Larnach in the mix. You got Wallner. Yeah, you got Bader out in left field, but then you take a look at some of the guys that are getting closer to Major League ready. Emmanuel Rodriguez is on the cusp. Walker Jenkins is not too far away. So would the Twins want someone like Jarren Duran or even Willie Abreu? I mean, I don't see why not, but I think they would rather have something different. So maybe that's where you can get a third team involved. The Padres, they are hot on the heels of Jarren Duran. They have wanted this guy, I think, since he came out of the womb. A.J. Preller loves him some Jarren Duran. California guy. Absolutely. Right? So maybe you can get the Padres involved. And then, the Padres can send over whatever maybe the Twins would want something at the top of their system, like a Ethan Salas. I'm not so sure. The bat hasn't been amazing with him. Very good defense, young age, but not so sure about the bat. I don't know if that would be a prospect they would want. Don't think Leo DeVries is going to be on the table, one of the top prospects in the game. I don't see that happening. So, I don't know. If it's not the Padres, I don't know. Maybe the Phillies, a team like that. Maybe the Mets. Maybe you can get other teams involved here if the Twins are not really fancying someone like Jaren Durant. I think you would need to have a player of that value starting off a package that would be going back to the Twins. I don't think the Red Sox and the Twins without Duran or Abreu would get it done. I mean, sure, Peyton Tolley, the guy's doing great stuff down in the minor leagues, but I think they would want a cost-controlled major league player that they can have for the next couple of years. Listen, you always have to remember when it comes to trades, both teams have to win. That's the way you always go into it. You can't just be doing these lopsided trades. Like, you just can't do that. The Twins are going to want something to help them over the next couple of years. They're not going to sell. They got tons of talent over there. Obviously, they're not, putting it together this year fully, but they're going to be looking out for themselves over the next couple of years. So I think they would want, and if it's not a cost-controlled major leaguer, at least a very high-ranked prospect, and then you get some other major, close to major league or cost-controlled major league players attached. I think maybe you can go either way. So that's kind of where I'm at. That's where it gets complicated. You're going to have to get a third team involved. We have seen, over the years, we have seen the 3-team trades, but I think straight up, the Red Sox Twins probably don't match up, but you could get something done if another team was, looking to maybe acquire someone like Duran. I think that makes sense. And obviously, and I understand there are people out there, they don't want to move Jaren Duran. I get that, right? I like me some Jaren Duran. I'm a big fan. So, but if you are looking at the logjam, Roman Anthony right now, he's doing amazing things in his rookie year. Wilyer Abreu leads the Red Sox in home runs. Sadam Rafaela, King Seti, amazing defense, having just an amazing year this year. Those guys aren't going anywhere, in my opinion. And I think with Duran, it's not really I'm moving him because I think he's a bad player. No, I think he's an electric player. I think he brings a lot to the table. I just think when you're looking at it from a value point of view, he really can bring back something good. So, again, it's not that I want to move him, but it's more so I understand the need to really up your game at the top of the rotation. That's where I'm looking at it. And if someone like Duran can be used in that scenario, obviously it would stink trading him away, but you really need starting pitching, in my opinion. That's just where I'm at. Now, again, getting back to the point, if Joe Ryan is going to get moved, I do think a third team is going to have to get involved. So if you're going to ask me right now, do I think Joe Ryan's going to get moved? I'm going to lean more towards no. I think there's just too much that you'd have to do to get a deal done. I hope I'm wrong. I'm not going to completely shoot it down, but a lot has to happen and a lot of things have to come together for it to work. And when you got the deadline here, teams are going nuts, picking up the phone left and right. It gets complicated, right? So that's where I wonder if he were to be moved, do they maybe look at it in the offseason or maybe wait until next year and see how they're doing, right? So the thing with the Twins wrapping this up here is they don't have to move him. That's the thing. I mean, you would cash in, no doubt, and I think there's an argument there to where if you did move him, that could help you retool for the next year, next couple of years, right? Give you some more players that you can work into the organization, work into the system, right? Because that's something I was afraid of with the Twins coming into this year. I was afraid of the depth within the organization. If guys go down, guys get hurt. I was afraid of this with the Twins where I wasn't sure, who could they turn to, and they're struggling, right? So I'm not going to leave it off the table. I would say probably not. I would say he ends up staying. I really hope I'm wrong. I would love to see him in Boston. However, if that doesn't happen here, well, then you have a couple other options that I absolutely think can be possible here. You got someone like Merrill Kelly. Merrill Kelly, right? If you're looking for a rental, I think someone like Kelly could absolutely be on the table. Why not? I mean, the Diamondbacks, they're in a weird spot right now, too. Pretty similar to the Twins, to be completely honest. When you're looking at it in the standings, a few games under 500. I mean, they're in a worse spot here. They're 5.5 out in the wild card, 11 games out in the division. The Diamondbacks, I don't think they want to sell. I mean, they came into this year with high aspirations. Burns went down. So the Diamondbacks at this point, I could see a situation where they do a bit of a soft sell. You can move Kelly now, and Kelly, is an Arizona native, so maybe he just goes back there in the offseason, signs a new deal, and he can just help out a team for the next couple of months in the postseason. So I could absolutely see a situation where Merrill Kelly could be on the table. I mean, if you're looking at the value, again, you're paying for 2 months. You would have to give up something for him, but he's not going to be anywhere near the price of a Joe Ryan. And he's having a solid year. ERA and the FIP in the threes. Some of the metrics are looking pretty good. He gets a lot of guys to chase. Good strikeout rate, good walk rate. Does give up some hard contact, but I think the Red Sox, they would value that swing and miss with Merrill Kelly. And he does get a decent amount of ground balls, and I do think you're going to see an improved defense in the second half with Marcelo Meyer getting more time at second base, Bregman back at third, Story at short. So I think you will see a better infield defense, and I think with Kelly, who gets a decent amount of ground balls, I think that would be a pretty good fit overall. Again, it wouldn't cost you all that much. I mean, honestly, if I'm looking at the Red Sox top prospects here, I mean, you're not going to have to give up someone like Peyton Tolley or Clark or Early. You wouldn't even have to give up the password, in my opinion. Even like Sandlin or Romero, I don't. The Red Sox have a deep farm, so I don't think you would have to go that far. I don't know. I mean, if I'm looking, maybe in that scenario, maybe, if I'm thinking about it, we have seen teams overpay a little bit. But again, I don't know if the Red Sox would be willing to go as far. I don't know, could you just send Tibbs? Just straight up Tibbs for Kelly? I mean, that would be an overpay, but could you see a situation like that? Same thing with Romero. They just drafted Henry Godbout, infielder. I don't know. Could someone like Romero be on the table? I'm not quite sure. Or a mix of guys like Paez, whatever it may be. Zach Earhart, some of these guys like Nelly Taylor, whatever. They got some guys in that after that top 10, maybe, if I were to pull up here, let me pull up the Red Sox top prospects. I'm a visual guy, ladies and gentlemen. I gotta see it in front of my face. I don't even think you'd have to give up Tibbs, to be honest. If any, that would probably be the most that you would give up, in my opinion. I don't think Sandlin. I don't think Early. Could you? I don't know. Maybe could you flip Yeferi Rodriguez possibly? Miguel Blaze. Maybe again. I could see maybe Romero being on the table. I don't think Peyton Tolley. I don't know why Peyton Tolley is only number 14 on this list. Pipeline. You got to update your top 30s here. Peyton Tolley should be in the top 5 for crying out loud. Maybe like, I don't know. I think Juan Valera is hurt, so I don't. Maybe not him, but again, I think you could see a couple of guys maybe in this 10 to 15 range, maybe one more guy in that 16 to 20. It's not going to cost a lot to get Merrill Kelly. I don't think it's going to break the bank to get him. Now, you got some other options. Here. Zach Gallen on the same team? I don't think so. This guy's been very up and down this year. The metrics are not looking good with him. Could you maybe see a situation where, Boston, they've had a reputation here over the last year where they've been able to get guys, get more out of some of these guys. Maybe they can come up with a better game plan for Gallen. I just think at this point, he's just way too inconsistent. I don't see him getting moved. Could you go for a guy that's under contract like a Mitch Keller? The reason I don't like Mitch Keller, I wouldn't mind Keller. If they ended up getting him, I wouldn't mind it. I just feel like he would fit like Citi Field a little better, more of a picture-friendly park, because here's the difference with Keller and Merrill Kelly, where they're both going to get they're going to limit the walks. They're going to get some ground balls. The difference with Keller, and while both do give up some hard contact, with Keller, he doesn't have a whole lot of swing and miss. And at Fenway Park, I would like to have more of that swing and miss. So I'm not sure if Keller would be on the table there. I will say this. The Padres, Dylan Cease, he's had a very up and down year. The one thing that sticks out to me with Cease, though, is the FIP at a 3.69 compared to the 4.88 ERA. He still has a good strikeout to walk ratio. He's giving up a few more homers this year, so that's where I kind of pause a little bit. But I just wonder about it from the Padres' point of view, where he's hitting free agency soon. He's going to be looking for a big contract. I mean, the Padres are probably not going to bring him back. Do they just move him now? You got Darvish who came back. Michael King, I would imagine, is going to come back here at some point in the next month. Maybe the Padres, that's like a soft sell kind of a move to maybe help them get back something. Maybe get another bat for the lineup, possibly. So I'd probably say no on this one, but it's just I wonder if Preller could get a little, what's the right word? A little aggressive there, maybe think outside the box. Maybe Nathan Eovaldi. Nathan Eovaldi, old friend. We all remember Nathan Eovaldi, Nasty Nate, having a very good year. And I've seen people suggest this. I think the Rangers, they're going to want to compete in the second half. I don't see them moving him. They just signed him to a contract, 3 years, 75, and they just gave him an All-Star game bonus. He didn't make it there. I think that's what it was. I think they gave him a bonus, right? It's like a nice gesture because of the good year he's been having. I don't think they're going to move Eovaldi. I just don't see it. I don't know. It's been a great fit. I don't see them doing that. It doesn't sound like something Chris Young would do. You got Sandy Alcantara, but again, he's having a very up and down year. So when I kind of look at everything, I kind of look at Merrill Kelly, and I'm thinking when you're looking for like a happy medium, I think he kind of fits that range. I think he fits the bill. I mean, Joe Ryan's the dream. I would love for the Red Sox to shoot for the stars, try to get a deal done here, but if that's not going to be in the cards, I think Kelly is a pretty good fallback here. So that's just the way I think about it. But if you're watching on Nesson, I do have to wrap it up right there. We are out of time. But if you want to watch the rest of this, I'm going to be talking about some possible first basemen that the Red Sox could trade for. We're going to go over the Cubs series, the schedule for the next few weeks, and we're going to have some fun. So if you are watching on Nesson, out of time, we'll see you tomorrow for the post-game show. So let's get to it again, shall we? Let's get to it. Let's move on from the pitching. Let's move on here from the pitching. Let's get to some first basemen, shall we? Some first basemen. And listen, we had a little something, another little golden tidbit. Also, I'll point out here as well, I can't believe I whiffed, ladies and gentlemen. I forgot to pull up a couple of players. Thank you, Chris Cotillo, for having this in the article. And this was also mentioned by Ken Rosenthal the other day. Mr. Ken Rosenthal of Fair Territory. He suggested Charlie Morton. Oh, man. I can't do Charlie Morton, man. I can't do it. George White, I see you in the chat. Kelly seems like a back-end starter. No, Merrill Kelly, he's a proven postseason guy from a couple of years ago. I think Kelly would be a pretty solid rental if you're looking for anything close to a 2. I think Kelly fits that bill. Now, I wouldn't say he's a back-end guy. I mean, I think he's a 2-3. That's the way I see him, personally. But Charlie Morton, I do not see as a number 2. We had this from Ken Rosenthal the other day. Here's the thing. I know you're looking at these numbers right now, and you're like, that's ERA at a 5.18, FIP 4.34. Like Dennis Eckersley said, what was it when he said yuck? When got David Price all heated up. Good old Dennis Eckersley. Charlie Morton, he has pitched very well over the last month or so. He's pitched a lot better. The thing is I'm looking for more upside. Listen, Charlie Morton, he's had a solid career, but he's 41 at this point. He is a gamer in the postseason. I'll say that. I just don't see it. I think it's like a fallback option after the fallback. Like, this is like the last possible option, in my opinion. It just doesn't have a whole lot of upside to me. I'll leave Lugo on the table. Remember the Seth Lugo sweepstakes from a couple of years ago? Remember that everyone was in hot pursuit for Seth Lugo, and then the Red Sox got outbid by the Royals. Good times. But Seth Lugo, listen, I mean, the ERA looks good, 2.67. The FIP worries me, though, at 4.28. He's been in a pitcher-friendly park in Kansas City. We can actually go, let me actually verify the splits. Let me verify the splits. You know what? Actually, hold on a sec. Well, okay, he has a higher slugging on the road of 400. So that's something to point out there. Now, he's had a few more starts at home. ERA's a little higher on the road. Let me take a look at the FIP. FIP is right around the same at home or on the road. I don't know. I worry about that. I worry about it, right? Let me actually, hold on. Let me look at one more thing here. 1.3 home runs per 9. That's gone up a lot from over the last couple of years. I don't know. I just don't know if I like Lugo at Fenway. I'm a little worried about that one. I'm not a fan. You know, if you asked me last year, oh yeah, Seth Lugo would be great. I don't know. Something ERA looks good. I just wonder about the homers. That's kind of where I'm at with him. There's also Edward Cabrera on the Marlins. I don't know. He is having a pretty solid year. He's looked the healthiest he has his entire career this year. He's putting up solid numbers. I look back at the injury risk with him. I know he'd be a cost-controlled guy, but he doesn't have the track record, in my opinion. So again, I go back to Merrill Kelly here. I think he is he's the happy medium pick, in my opinion. Right? When you take a look at everything involved, he's the guy for me. He's the guy. Well, Joe Ryan's the guy. Well, Merrill Kelly is my fallback option. Let's get away from the pitching here. And we got a few guys that we got to talk about here. And Chris Cotillo, he wrote here in the article that you could maybe see the Red Sox look into some options for first base. Now he says here, the current group lacks a little bit of pop, so a reinforcement is still on the table. Breslow isn't going to add an outfielder. He's not touching third base, shortstop, or second. So any acquisition better be able to play first base. I agree. I've been talking about first baseman for a little while here. He mentions a few guys. Ryan O'Hearn. Nathaniel Lowe. He's not having a great year. He's under control for next year. I wouldn't do him. And Josh Naylor. Well, yeah, I think you could definitely look at one of these guys. And but Yandy Diaz, I believe he came up in this article here. Here we go. This is where it was. If the Rays do what they always do and trade players getting close to free agency, someone like Yandy Diaz could be available. If he is, sources indicate he'd be high on the wish list of some Red Sox decision makers. Well, absolutely. I mean, Yandy, obviously, he's a proven commodity in the American League East, having another solid year. He's really picked it up as of late, too. He's really heated up. He's gotten the batting average up. The on-base is starting to look good here at 339. Slugging is really picking it up as of late. Very good lately. 14 homers at 120 WRC plus. Absolutely. And you would have him for next year as well. And then there is a vesting option for 2027. So, obviously Tristan Casas, that's a big question mark. But, maybe you could see someone like Yandy, another right-handed bat. If you wanted to, I know you got Romy, who's the right-handed bat, who's been amazing at first base. But if you wanted to add another right-handed bat, this could be it here. And, someone like Yandy, too, the amount that he gets on base, you could bat him leadoff if you wanted to, or you could bat him somewhere, 5, 6. He can go anywhere in that lineup. Absolutely. Now, Yandy, of course the Red Sox would love to have someone like Yandy. Take a look at all the Reds here over on StatCast. Everything's looking quite dandy. He doesn't strike out. And that's another thing the Red Sox would love to add. Really try to reduce those strikeouts even more. So, yeah, I would love Yandy Diaz, but would the Rays move him? Well, here's the thing. I could see them doing it. The Rays, they have been a little wishy-washy as of late. Taking a look at the standings. All right, well, we just took it to the Rays not too long ago. And they're now 50-47. They've lost 4 straight, 2-8 in their last 10. Game and a half out in the wild card. So could you see the Rays in a situation where they're like, hey, we got someone like Curtis Mead. Let's take advantage of Yandy's value right now, and let's just keep replenishing this system. That's what the Rays do. They're like the Dodgers, where they got guys that just come on into the lineup. Guys leave, and another one comes up. That's the Rays, but the small market, obviously. So for the Rays, it's more so important to take advantage of that value. Now, in division trade, Well, I'm not so sure about that. I think, honestly, would the Rays care? I don't even know. But then also, the Rays, it looks like they're going to be selling to, I'm going blank on the name, someone that's up in Jacksonville. Doesn't look like they're going to be coming to Orlando. I was really hoping they would come to Central Florida. It looks like the Orlando Dreamers' dream is over. Looking like it. Unless maybe they move to Orlando. I think that could be possible. I don't know. But taking a look here. Now, Yandy. What would it cost to get Yandy? Well, here's the thing about Yandy. You got to remember, age is starting to get up there a little bit. 33. Yes, good track record. And he still has another year of control. But when you look at the positional value, first base. I mean, listen, if Yandy's a shortstop or center fielder or catcher, you're going to see a lot more value. But first base, I mean, positional value comes into play here. So his value is not going to be enormous. You will have to give something up for him. I mean, he's not going to be cheap. But here on BTV, Baseball Trade Values, he does have a $5.5 million surplus. That's their estimate. I could see that getting up to even maybe $10 million. I could totally see a situation where the Rays, if the Red Sox come calling, Craig gives a little buzz. And then, yeah, I think the Rays would love to take advantage. Maybe get someone like James Tibbs, guy coming out of FSU, Florida product. I could totally see the Rays going after, like, James Tibbs, just a power bat that can get on base, works counts well. Like, he is such a Ray to me. He is a Red Sox right now, obviously. Anyone that's with the Red Sox organization, I love you. But if there's another team that would fit the profile for him, it's totally the Rays. Like, I would totally see something like that. But you got Tibbs. You know, I could see them being interested in guys like, you know, some of these, absolutely, David Sandlin. I mean, I could totally see them wanting to get an arm like that. Going a little lower. I don't know. I mean, again, like a Yoferi Rodriguez, a guy that's further away. I can see the Rays being interested in him. He's got a pretty good athletic profile. Miguel Blaze, ton of upside with him. You know, like, I think the Rays would be willing to listen. But then I could also see a situation where he's a fan favorite there, and he's just a guy that he's like a leader of the team. So I could totally see the Rays just thinking, hey, we got him on a pretty cheap contract. So, I mean, let's just hang on to him, right? They hung on to him last year. I thought they were going to move him last year, and they didn't. So if there was a chance to get Yandy, yeah, I would totally love this. But in-division trade, productive player, fan favorite. I know the Rays, they like to take advantage, but is Yandy the guy that you take advantage of to score on the value? Could he be an exception to what they try to do, is what I'm trying to say. If it's not Yandy, I mean, you got some other options here. Ryan O'Hearn, I totally think could be on the table. He's having a great year. All-star. 382 on base. Absolutely. Ryan O'Hearn doesn't strike out all that much either. Takes a good amount of walks. So, yeah. Ryan O'Hearn, absolutely. Josh Naylor, I would love Josh Naylor. You know, Josh Naylor, you look at the Red Sox a few years back, right? They brought in Kyle Schwarber. Everyone just loved Kyle Schwarber. They still do. And you could really look back on that free agency and think, wow, the Red Sox really goofed that up. They should have kept this guy around. They should have totally topped the Phillies' offer. I think you'd see that. Josh Naylor, to me, sort of fits like, yeah, I think we can all agree Schwarber, he's like this, what's the word I'm looking for? A bit quirky. You know what I mean? Like, you know, you saw it when he was making that play over at first base. You know, he pumped the fist in the air. Like, you know, just a guy that you like. And Josh Naylor, a guy that he just goes out there and competes. He's got a personality within the clubhouse. Like, I could totally see someone like Naylor being a guy for the Red Sox. And he's having a good year. He's hitting 294, 361 on base, 456 on the slugging. I could totally see it. Now, where I do have a little bit of pause is the batted ball data. It's not amazing, right? Vegza velo, barrel percentage, below average. Bat speed is a little low. He squares up well, though. He doesn't strike out. So that's where I wonder if the Red Sox, if maybe they would try to, if they were to make an in-division trade, could Ryan O'Hearn be a more realistic option? I could see it. I could see something like that. We'll just have to wait and see what happens here. And also, I'm going to touch on one more thing. You might be asking me, Robbie, why are you talking about all these left-handed hitting first base when we got Abraham Toro, for crying out loud? Well, here's the thing with Toro. You know, he has totally had some great moments here with the Red Sox. And when you take a look at the numbers, it's not bad at all. You know, hitting 271, 321 on the on base, 418 on the slugging. If we were to take a look at the stats lately, though, let me pull up here the Red Sox over the last couple of weeks. Mr. Toro, he has been struggling. Over the last 14 games, only hitting 225, a 59 WRC plus. So have we tapped into the most we can with Abraham Toro? Again, he's had some really nice moments, and he's really stepped up here and filled a big need for the Red Sox. But could you see a situation where they want to make an upgrade here? You know, get a left-handed bat, and then you have Romy, the righty. Romy is not going anywhere. Obviously, he's having a great year against lefties. But this is why I think you would see the Red Sox looking to make an upgrade over at first base with a lefty bat. I could totally see it. So we will just have to wait and see. But everybody, we have a couple more things to talk about. We are going to get into the Cubs preview. We are going to look at the schedule here in a little bit, but we do have a word from one of our sponsors here for tonight. We got to pay the bills. We got to keep the lights on. So I'll be right back.
Hey, have you heard of Built? No? Do you pay rent? Yes? Okay, good. Let's talk. There's no cost to join, and just by paying rent, you unlock flexible points that can be transferred to your favorite hotels and airlines, a future rent payment, your next Lyft ride, and much more. When you pay rent through Built, you unlock two powerful benefits. First, you earn one of the industry's most valuable points on rent every month. No matter where you live or where your landlord is, your rent now works for you, and you gain access to exclusive neighborhood benefits in your city. Built's neighborhood benefits are things like extra points on dining out, complimentary post-workout shakes, and much more. Unique experiences that only Built members can access. And when you're ready to travel, Built points can be converted to your favorite miles and hotel points around the world, meaning your rent can literally take you places. So if you're not earning points on rent, my question is, what are you waiting for? Start paying rent through Built and take advantage of your neighborhood benefits by going to joinbuilt.com/foul. That's joinbilt.com/FOUL. Make sure to use our URL so that they know we sent you.
All righty, let's get to it here. And we got some schedule to look at here. Let's take a little look-see at what's going to be coming up here over the next couple of weeks. Well, the Red Sox, they got themselves a bit of a gauntlet here, ladies and gentlemen. A bit of a gauntlet. And it's no time to rest. Rest is for the weary. Is that how they say it? Is that what you call it here? Let's take a look. Here we go. You got the Cubbies tomorrow, an early game tomorrow. It just dawned on me a little bit early. I was thinking we were going to have a night game tomorrow, but no, it is on at 2:20 Eastern time. So don't forget that. Then you have a night game over on Saturday, and then you got another day game at 2:20 on Sunday. Then you got the Phillies, and then you got the Dodgers, and then you got the Twinkies. Listen, here, ladies and gentlemen, if there is a time to make a trade, there is a time for Joe Ryan. I mean, come on. You got the Twins right there. I mean, the guy he can walk across the diamond. He can literally just go from dugout to dugout. It's perfect. You got the Twins right there. Go get Joe Ryan during that series. Oh, it'd be amazing. And then you have the off day. And then you actually have the off day on the deadline. So then Ryan can travel with the team. It's perfect. It's so perfect. I'm just saying. But the Cubs series, you have quite a bit of tough baseball coming up here. But, this is actually a good time. This is a good time to take a look at my DraftKings player spotlight before we actually dive in here. I got one player that I'm focused on for this series and for tomorrow especially. So let's get into that. And listen, ladies and gentlemen, the guy that I'm looking at for my DraftKings player spotlight, Trevor Story. Trevor Story, I think, has a good shot to go yard tomorrow. So if you go over to DraftKings right now, there is a plus 550 odds for him to hit a home run. If you were to bet, I don't know what, $10, $10 right now, that you would make $65. And listen, I'm feeling pretty good. Feeling pretty good about it. Because when you take a look, obviously we've seen how hot Trevor Story is as of late, but he has a home run against Colin Rea in 3 ABs. Listen, Trevor Story, he's shown this year when he goes up against guys that he's had success against in the past, he just keeps on coming through. And taking a look here at Trevor Story, I mean, this was one of the best stories leading up to the All-Star break. Guy's been just phenomenal over the last month, hitting 319, 347 on base, a 575 on the slugging, 7 homers, 6 stolen bases. This guy's been great. And I think he's got himself a good shot at homering off of Colin Rea. And actually, we'll go a little further into how hot Mr. Trevor Story's been. When you take a look at Fangraph wins above replacement over the last couple of weeks, he ranks 4th overall. Oh, and actually, number 1 over the last couple of weeks is King Seti himself. But because Story has the home run against Rea, I'm feeling pretty juicy about him tomorrow. Story has been absolutely amazing. So I would absolutely make your way over to DraftKings here. And if you want to make some money, go try it out. Go try it out. Or you can download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and you can use the code FOUL. That's code FOUL for the new customers out there. You get $150 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5. That's not bad. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. I'll be right back.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY at 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas. 21 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio.
All righty, let's get back to it here. We got one more thing to talk about, and we're talking tomorrow's matchup. And we got Lucas Giolito on the mound. Obviously, he's been amazing as of late. Overall, I mean, he's really put himself into the position as the guy behind Garrett Crochet. I mean, yeah, obviously Brian Bayo, he's been very good as well, but Giolito, I mean, he's been very good here over the last 6 or so starts, going back to that first month. The first start of the month in June. Remember, he got lit up by the Angels there, but after that, he's been phenomenal. 3.36 ERA on the year, 6-1 record, 64 Ks over that time. Now, the numbers here against Giolito, I mean, this is the best he's looked here in a few years. Obviously, he missed a lot of time with the elbow injury, but taking a look, there have been guys that have seen him decently, right? Nico Horner has a home run against him in a couple of ABs. Ian Happ's got a hit off of him. Swanson's got a hit. Kyle Tucker has seen a lot of Giolito, hitting 250 against him in 16 ABs. Got 4 RBIs as well. And also, hey, Red Sox legend Justin Turner. We'll be seeing him again. Now, against Colin Rea, kind of similar. Not a ton of experience against Colin Rea overall. Like I said, Trevor Story has the home run, OPS at a 2,300. That's not bad. Again, it's a small sample, 3 ABs. Then Seti, he's got a hit off of him. Willier, he's got a hit off of him. So, hey, the Red Sox offense, they've been red hot, and I know they've had a couple of days off here, but let's see if they can keep this rolling here. We got to keep this win streak alive, I mean, what else is there to say? Got to keep the win streak alive. But listen, I'm excited, everyone, to really get back into this. We had a lot of good energy going into the All-Star break. Good vibes. Was nice to get a couple of days off there. Nice to get a bit of a breather. But it's kind of one of those things where I'm just very excited for the Red Sox right now. And I just really want them to get back onto the field. It's weird because they had the 10-game win streak. And but it's like, oh man, we gotta. It's like, you didn't even want to go to the All-Star break. You're like, oh, it's been fun lately. We gotta pause it right now. But here we go. We're back at it. And like I said, obviously, all the trade rumors are going to be coming up here over the next couple of weeks. I'm excited to talk about it. I know you're excited to listen about it. I'm just excited. I'm feeling good. The vibes are great. We've been able to, we actually got to enjoy an All-Star break, right? I know we had, some success last year going into the All-Star break. This year has so much of a different feel, though, because of all of the talent they have. I'm excited. But I'm out of here, everybody. I'm going to wrap it up right there. Feels weird to not be talking about a game. That's also very weird about this one. I kind of feel like I don't know what to do with my hands necessarily. But we'll be back at it tomorrow. And yes, Brett in the chat, trade deadline streams are back. They are back. They're back. I'm excited about the Red Sox. I'm excited about trade season. It's my favorite time of the year. This is like Christmas for me. This is Christmas. I love this time of the year. I love the off season. I do. But I love the trade deadline. It's amazing. Everyone, go enjoy the rest of your night. We're back at it again tomorrow against the Cubbies. Again, it's an early one, 2:20 Eastern time. So we'll be here probably around 5:30-ish. Sounds about right. Everyone, go enjoy the rest of your night. I'll see you tomorrow.